Van D, a dynamic leader with decades of experience building companies and crushing sales. He's been there and done that.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Van D.
Inspiring audiences across the country to do it too. Here's Van.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Van D podcast. I'm super excited because I have my favorite guest, who also a great friend of mine, Jay Miralles. Welcome to the Van D podcast.
I think the more appropriate introduction would be the Green Hornet and Cato. People are like, what's that? If you're a boomer, you'll know.
Well, I'm laughing and I don't know what you're talking about.
The Green Hornet?
I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. I was like, you better.
I know who the Green Hornet is.
And you know Cato was
He's
Bruce Lee.
with the Red Hornet.
Oh my God, and Bruce Lee was Cato.
I know.
I mean, I'm Asian,
I watched
but
a ton
not.
of Bruce Lee movies. Never.
Oh my gosh. That's a whole nother show.
Well, welcome, Jay.
Thank you for having me.
Or should I say Cato?
Cato is fine.
Jay, today we're going to talk about testimonials.
Yes.
One of the most neglected area of business. And when I ask people, what do you do with your testimonials? How often do you ask for testimonials? Usually the answers are, I never ask for them, so apparently I do nothing with them.
They're not capitalizing on opportunity.
No, and it's part of being resourceful. You know, when you're in any sort of a sales position, management position, leadership, business in general, what's going to help you accomplish your goals and dreams and your missions is being resourceful. And seeking testimonials is extremely important, and I'd like to talk to you about that today. Jay, do you ask people to give you testimonials?
100%.
And
Not only
how
do I
do you
ask,
do that?
I just know how important they are to me, and it really depends on the situation. But when someone says, "Wow," I never thought that would happen. When I get that moment, when their endorphins are on a high, I'm like, you know what? That means so much to me. What would help me? I'm asking for your help now. Would if you do a testimonial for me. Some people are like, oh, I'm not good on camera. Hey, that's okay. You can just write it down, or I can paraphrase it for you. But I really would. That would mean so much to me. Don't feel obligated, but it would mean the world to me. That's my ask in every situation.
So timing is everything.
Yes.
So here's when I jump on the asking for testimonials, when somebody says thank you. Oh. For instance, let's just talk real estate.
Yeah.
You're a real estate guru.
Yep.
I'm a real estate guru.
Absolutely.
When I had a customer say, thank you so much, we sure enjoyed working with you, I would say, you know what, Bob and Cindy, would you mind putting that in writing? Just a quick paragraph. Would you mind giving me a testimonial and allowing me to use it whenever I can? Nobody says no. They don't.
And I've seen your testimonials in your books, online, in some of your emails. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so people want to help. People are good. People are generally good. And especially if they're a customer or a client of yours, you know, they're not going to be offended. They're not going to feel like they're being put out. You're just asking for a paragraph.
Right. Some of them are going to do a great job in being eloquent, and some are going to be like, Van did a great job.
Yep.
But if you don't ask, you won't even get Van did a great job.
And I think if you picked, you know, all careers and industries will support certain testimonials. But in the sales end, and where, like, let's use real estate, because everybody's a prospect.
Everyone.
And if you're that, and social media is so big, I would recommend asking for a 30-second testimonial. Like, for instance, let's use an example. You're at a closing. Bob and Cindy just bought a house from you. They just got done telling you how much they enjoyed working with you.
Yes.
Maybe you say, hey, can I get you on video real quick just for 30 seconds? And you can maybe point out a couple of things that you really liked working with me about.
Absolutely.
I mean, that is, you know, most people will say yes. And if they don't, ask them if they can put something in writing.
Right.
But take advantage of Facebook and LinkedIn and all these other avenues for social media. It's business.
I mean, Van, at the end of the day, if this is your fee and the fee of your competitor is the same, I'm looking for a testimonial. I'm looking for a track record.
And you want real ones. You want ones that are...
Or I want a lot of them to show consistency. And here's what I'll tell you. So I have this video coming up. I'm spending the money. I have 5 veterans in the last year that I've helped. 5 veterans that I've already prompted them. I'm doing a video in February or March. I'm paying for this already. I would just love to interview you about your experience with me. That's 5 of them. I know.
How long will each one last?
I'd say
video.
We're probably going to shoot each for 10 minutes, but we're going to cut them into 20-second to 30-second clips and put it together.
That's the best way to do it, is quick, short,
and
impactful, powerful.
Yes, and it's an investment of time, and it's an investment of intention. It's
and you know what? When you're asking for a testimonial, there's nothing wrong with you prodding them either. Like if they say, well, what do you want me to say? If you're asking me, I would love it if you said something like, if you're looking to buy or sell a house, Jay Miralles is the guy to call.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, because they did.
Right.
And in our society, I think people are becoming more and more skeptical about working with people that don't have a track record.
I mean, let's be honest. You look online for reviews.
Yeah.
Don't tell me do you Yelp things or Google things, or do you look at the ratings online? I think you do.
Yeah.
And that means a lot. I also have to consider the source of testimonials, and I'm sure we'll get to that too.
Right.
Because, I mean, Van, of all the testimonials you've ever got online in your life, is there 1 or 2 bad ones that ever get you down?
So I'll tell you one that may qualify as not the greatest.
Okay.
But this client asked me to use them as a testimonial. They just did. So this is a client, they were being relocated to New Zealand. Okay. They were being relocated. I sold their house.
Yes.
It was a stay-at-home mom, and they had 3 beautiful little dogs. Mm-hmm. And when I would call her, I'd say, we have a showing at 2:00 today. She would always say, I'll put the dogs in the laundry room. And I said, if you don't mind, we'll get this sold a lot quicker if you can just take them out during the showing. Oh. And she was never receptive to that. She even made comments like, you hate dogs. I said, no, I don't. It's just that I don't want to have your dogs keep me from selling your house.
Right.
They bark nonstop, and people are going to want to go in the laundry room. That's part of your house.
Yes.
And that's how they get to the garage.
Yes.
We can't tell people that they're going to go in a $500,000 home, but they can't go in the garage because the dogs are in the laundry room.
Nope.
So anyway, she finally started doing that. Long story short, we sold it right after that because people wanted to get in there. And when a customer walks in home, you don't want them hearing dogs bark.
No, you want them to hear peace, serenity in their getaway.
All that's common sense. So anyway, they said, we want you to use this as a testimonial. So I did. And it was really funny because it was somebody in their neighborhood. So I said, I'm going to go ahead and give their name and phone number. They allowed me to do that.
Yeah, so they can call them for a live testimonial.
And their testimonial was, Van Deeb was the biggest pain in the butt realtor we've ever had, but we would never consider anybody else because he was honest with us and he did what he said he was going to do.
Wow.
And so I even had the client ask me, what does that mean, pain in the butt? I said, because I kept telling them to take their dogs out.
Yes.
And so that was a testimonial to answer your question that wasn't one that I would be bragging about.
Right. But it was authentic.
It was authentic. But in order to get people to do testimonials, we've got to perform. We can't ask somebody, hey, can you give me a testimonial? I know I was average when we did business together.
I know it was average.
No, if you feel like you did a good job,
yes,
ask for a testimonial.
Can I ask you this? This should fire you up.
Do it.
There are people in this world that are like, I don't need testimonials. I don't believe in testimonials. But what would you tell that person right now? Like, I don't want to bother with that. I don't want to, that takes too much work. What would you say?
This is a person that doesn't want more. And I never really related. I love everybody.
Yes.
And I don't care if you're happy where you're at and you're going paycheck to paycheck. You're a good person. I love you. You're still my friend. I'll never try to get you motivated if you don't want it.
So here's my next question. You have clients that you coach
Right.
actively, and they're asking to say, Van, make me better. Real estate agents in this space right now. Most real estate agents want, I want to learn how to lead generate. I want to do this. I want to do all these things, right? They want to grow their business. But you're like, okay, testimonials. They're not actively working on it and they want more. What do you say to that one
So I
agent?
go through a series of things when I
Yes.
coach people, and anything that they're not doing, I want them to take baby steps.
Yeah, I
I
get it.
really do, because the saying, you don't have to be great to get started. You just have to get started to be great. So I want to see people do things they've never done before. I want them to get out of their comfort zone. I want them to call up Bob and Cindy and say, hey, you bought a house from me a month ago. Would you mind if I stopped by and got a 30-second video testimonial from you?
Right.
All they can say is no. So we need to come out of our comfort zone. And here's the thing. If you know that testimonials are going to increase your market share, they're going to increase your income, they're going to help you do more business, why aren't you doing it?
Because people are afraid to ASK.
I know it. That's why.
That's it.
That's why anybody listening to my podcast should go to my website, vandeeb.com, and order the book, The Power of Asking. I tell you, it will help you become a better asker.
And if you just have the book and you don't even read it and it sits on your bedside, that's enough to remind you the power of asking.
So listen.
I read it though.
Thank
I did.
you.
Maybe
Probably
once.
took you a whole couple minutes.
No, it took me a
Because you're
couple.
a SPAD reader. It
took me a while.
You're a speed reading Jay Miralles. So let me tell you something. We have to be creative, okay? So I'm giving a speech in Oklahoma City to 250 mortgage people. And it was a one and a half hour speech and then a half hour of question and answer. One of the loan officers stood up and asked, how do I get through to one of the top agents in my city? He's already got a mortgage company that he does business with. How do I get through to him? Now, I know that you've got mortgage favorites, so think about this as you as being a top agent and somebody wanting to do business with you when you've already got, and I know you get hounded. So my response is be different. Don't be like all the other mortgage reps
'Cause that's
and
easy
loan
to do.
officers. Be different. So
Right.
I'm going to tie this into a testimonial. Okay? Now follow me here.
I am.
I just sold you a house
Okay.
and you were thrilled with my services.
As most of your clients are.
Right. Kind of, exactly. Kind of got where we got to know each other a little bit more than normal.
Right. Right.
So I say to you, Jay, would you mind participating and help me grow my business? And you say, well, how can I do that?
Right.
Say, there's a realtor in my city. There's a realtor in town that's the top agent, and I want him to use me to refer his buyers to so I can do their mortgage.
Yes.
Would you mind writing him a letter telling him how much you enjoyed doing business with me and how I got your mortgage done on time and this and that? Would you mind doing that? They'll go, well, no. My gosh, what do you want me to say? Tell you what, Jay, what if I wrote it like it was coming from you and had you approve it and sign it?
Great.
So here's what I did. I recommended, and he did this. And there's a great ending to the story. But I'll just tell you, in purposes of testimonial, he had his client that he did a mortgage for, this is a mortgage officer, write it to, let's say, Jay Miralles, top realtor in town. Dear Jay, my name is Betty Stevens. I am writing to you today because you must be somebody very important to a mortgage officer named Van Deeb with ABC Mortgage Company.
Wow, that's already pretty powerful.
He asked me to write you a letter to tell you about my experience using him to get my mortgage for the house we just closed on. He called me back immediately. He did everything he was supposed to do. I was so impressed with him. I asked him, what can I do for you? And his first response was, I would love it if you wrote Van Deeb a letter and told him of your experience with me.
That's pretty cool.
I do hope, Van, that you give...
Jay.
I do hope, Jay, that you give Van an opportunity to do business with you and to do a mortgage for one of your clients. So I'm just giving that as an example.
It's totally different, though. I would have never thought of anything like that.
I'm utilizing the testimonial.
Right.
And nobody's going to have a problem with it. I have no problem saying, Jay, if you don't have time to write me a testimonial, how about I write it
and you
like
approve
it's coming from you and you approve it?
Right.
Do you know how many times in my career people have asked me to endorse them and to write them a letter?
Yes.
And I say to them, you know what? I'm going to go one better. You write the letter, send it to me. I'll approve it, put it on my stationery, and I'll send it back to you.
I do that a lot.
Yeah. I mean, that way we're doing exactly what they asked us to do.
I think people are used to character references. They're used to testimonial letters in that, they're used to proof of employment. So when you ask, how do I get connected to this top real estate agent?
Right.
It's a natural. You're applying for the job.
Every industry.
Yeah.
You're applying for a job. Every industry you can use that scenario that I just told you about the mortgage officer wanting to get into a top realtor. You can use that scenario on anything at all.
That letter itself, though, is not only good for that, because when you have a binder full of letters like that, you can say, hey, while I go make a cup of coffee, why don't you guys just read this book real quick?
And here's the thing that we hope for. When I say, hey, Jay, I'm so grateful that you love doing business with me on this transaction. Would you mind writing me a testimonial? And before I finish that breath, I'm doing this. Jay, would you mind writing me a testimonial? Or better yet, I know how busy you are. How about I write it, email it to you for your approval?
Yeah.
I mean, would that be okay? And you can put it on your letterhead and send it back. What are you going to say?
Absolutely.
You just saved me time.
I've done it before, Van, when I was in the other industry recruiting people saying, hey, Jay changed my, I say, here's my words, or here's your words, I'm paraphrasing.
Yep.
Sometimes they would add on,
Yep.
or they would eliminate, and they didn't have to come up with a whole creative story. They just, here's a frame, and they made it theirs.
Exactly. And you can even make it fun. You can make it exciting.
Yeah.
You can make it, where you can say, hey, would you do a 30-second video testimonial just real quick? And you're doing a selfie, basically.
Yeah.
And you may even say, hey, this is Bob and Cindy. They used me to buy a house. I'm the best. Just ask them. Something to be humorous.
Could I ask you this? This is one of the testimonial components where some people are like, yeah, do a Google review for us and we'll give you $50. Like, no. I don't know about that. And I'm not going to chastise people for doing that, but I don't feel right incentivizing for a testimonial.
If you're asking them to do work, maybe.
Yeah, but like doing a
no
Google
fun
review.
To do it that way, yeah.
No, I mean, you're paying for... Who's going to say no to a $50 gift card to Starbucks?
That's why timing for dialogue is so important. When you say to them, I'm so grateful you guys picked me as your realtor,
yep.
and they say to you, well, thank you for all your hard work. That's when you say the best way to thank me is.
Yeah, and it's
what I mean?
And it's so powerful.
It's powerful. People are generally good. They want to help people.
So you can say in your heart, and maybe I'm putting words in your mouth, have you never paid for a testimonial to say, not never paid, but like...
I haven't. I'm old school.
Good.
Good. I've never offered to pay for a testimonial. I think I'd be uncomfortable.
My next follow-up to that
now,
is...
let me tell you this. If it's a celebrity, if
sure.
it's a common household name,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Like I boxed a Heisman Trophy winner a couple summers ago for a charity.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
I would have no problem paying him a couple of bucks, even though he knocked me down twice during the fight. I'd have no problem, paying him a couple of bucks to give me a testimonial.
Absolutely. So here's what I'll tell you. The follow-up to that is when you tell your clients or the people who are your prospects, I've never paid for a testimonial. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and I wouldn't.
Right. That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, because I see so many, hey, leave a review and we'll give you a suntan for free. Like, I don't think it has the same effect as solicited.
I think if you make the call,
Yes.
don't put it in an email. Dear Van, will you give me a call?
Call him.
Call him, make it personal.
Right.
Jay, I want to thank you for being my guest today. You are so impactful to my audience. I hear from so many people. We love it when you and Jay are doing it. And it means a lot to me because we're not doing this podcast to hear ourselves talk.
No.
We're doing it to benefit our audience. So thank you, Jay.
I appreciate you, Van. Believe me, I appreciate you. And this is my life testimonial. Authentic, hardworking, and just, you are such a giver and a servant of men and all.
Thank you.
That you can hear it through this. And people say, oh, Jay, those are big words. No, they're not really. If you really think about it, that's my life testimonial for you.
Thank you.
You can use that.
I'm very grateful, and I will use it. I didn't even have to ask. Thanks so much. And ladies and gentlemen, please go to my website, vandeep.com, and you'll get more motivated. Please sign up and subscribe and rate and review this podcast. I'm super grateful, and thank you so much for tuning in.
A Parkville Media Production.